Hey everybody, and welcome back or welcome to another one of my videos. My name is Lauren Porter and you're watching Quarters with Porter. It is finally free agency season, and I'm not gonna lie, the Falcons' future is looking pretty bright. They've made a lot of moves this free agency season, so in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to be telling you all about all of the new players that the Falcons have got in free agency so far. If they add any more players after I make this video, of course, I'll make a part 2. The Falcons are actually one of the most improved teams this year in free agency, at least offensive wise. There's been so many articles talking about how we were eating this free agency season up. First things first, I talked about it in my last video. The Atlanta Falcons started off free agency aggressively. Like, they were not playing around, and they got the best quarterback available with Kirk Cousins. I'm not gonna go too into depth about Kirk Cousins because I did make a whole video on him on my last video. So if you want to learn more about that signing and what I think about it, go ahead and check out my last video. It'll be linked down below. But to just give y'all a quick run around, the Falcons signed Kirk Cousins on a 4-year, $180 million deal with $100 million guaranteed. So yes, Kirk Cousins was a little pricey, but overall I feel like it'll be worth it. Before the season began, one of the Falcons' main needs was to fill up that wide receiver room, because that wide receiver room was weak. And within the first 2 weeks of free agency, the Falcons did exactly that. They added 3 new wide receivers to their wide receiver room. The way that we got these new wide receivers, 2 were from free agency and 1 was from a trade. The 3 wide receivers that the Atlanta Falcons got this offseason so far are Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore, and Ray McLoud III. Let's start off with Darnell Mooney because in my opinion, this is the best wide receiver that the Falcons got this offseason so far. He was also a pretty hefty price. Darnell Mooney was signed to the Falcons on a $39 million deal with $26 million guaranteed over the next 3 years. So basically $13 million a year. Darnell Mooney is coming from the Chicago Bears, and last season he saw 414 yards in total as well as 1 touchdown. Back in 2021, Darnell Mooney actually did have an 1,000-yard season. He had about 1,055 yards, but after he had that amazing season, he saw a decline in his minutes in Chicago, but he was also dealing with injury as well. The Falcons were in need of some receiver depth, so this pickup of Darnell Mooney was a great pickup. He has experience in the slot as well as experience on the outside, so we'll see where the Falcons end up putting him, even though I feel like they're going to end up putting him on the outside, because we were most definitely in need of another outside target. Darnell Mooney was a 5th-round pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, so he's been in the NFL for about 4 seasons now. He has spent all 4 seasons of his NFL career in Chicago, so this is the first time he's going to be playing for a different team, but honestly, I feel like Darnell Mooney is definitely going to flourish in Atlanta. In his 4-year career, Darnell Mooney has had about 2,600 yards as well as 11 touchdowns, so not too shabby at all. I'm excited to see what Darnell Mooney is going to do for the Atlanta Falcons offense, especially with Kirk Cousins as his new quarterback. I feel like he's definitely going to flourish here. The next player that the Atlanta Falcons got is through a trade with the Arizona Cardinals, and we got Darnell Moore and they got Desmond Ridder. It's actually so crazy to think about the fact that Desmond Ridder is gone. Like, the Falcons literally packed his bags and said, get out of here, we're done with you. Not even the Falcons. Raheem Morris was fed up. He was not even gonna give that man a chance. And I low-key love Raheem Morris for that. Rondell Moore is only 23 years old, but he has 3 years of NFL experience so far. Last season, he had 352 yards as well as 1 touchdown. The interesting thing about Rondell Moore is with those 352 yards, 269 of those yards were rushing yards. So it's really giving running back when you put it like that. He actually became the very first wide receiver in Cardinals franchise history to have over 100 rushing yards in 1 season. Over the span of his 3-year career, Rondell Moore has racked up about 1,200 yards in total. It's honestly a pretty cheap pickup, and I'm pretty sure he has 1 year left on his contract, so we'll see if the Falcons end up extending him or not. Either way, Desmond Ridder's gone, and I'm happy about that. And I love the fact that we were able to get a player who's not that shabby for Desmond Ridder. So we really won that trade. And the last wide receiver that the Atlanta Falcons have gotten this free agency season is Ray McLoud III. Ray McLoud is another cheap wide receiver option. I guess we spent all of our money on Darnell Mooney and Kirk Cousins. He signed for 2 years with the Falcons for up to $6 million. This upcoming NFL season will be his 7th season in the NFL, so he has a lot of NFL experience. Last season, he only saw 135 yards, but he also didn't see very many touches either. He was on the 49ers, and he's been with the 49ers for the past 2 seasons. 49ers do have a pretty stacked wide receiver room, so it makes sense as to why he didn't get very many touches. Overall, in his whole entire NFL career, which has been about 6 years long, he has only seen 750 yards. So he hasn't even seen 1,000 yards yet, even though he's been in the NFL for this long. So Ray McLoud hasn't seen very much success when it comes to racking up yards, but he is a very fast receiver and he has a lot of return capability. He's a very dynamic returner, so we'll be expecting to see him competing with Avery Williams for the position. As of right now, the last piece that the Atlanta Falcons have picked up in this offseason is Charlie Warner. I'm actually rocking with Charlie because he's a dog. He went to the University of Georgia and he's also from Georgia. So welcome back home. It always feels like the Falcons have something against players that come from University of Georgia because it feels like we never get any, but we do have a dog on the team with Charlie Warner. Charlie Warner is a tight end, and last season he only saw 32 yards and no touchdowns. His 4-year NFL career, he has seen 120 yards in total and no touchdowns. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, that is a terrible stat line for someone who has played 65 NFL games. But you know, maybe he will get his first NFL touchdown with the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons needed to add another tight end to the tight end room because it was looking a little weak after we released Jonnu Smith. Even though Charlie Warner doesn't have very much success when it comes to racking up the yards, he does have a lot of success when it comes to blocking, and I think that's the reason why the Falcons have gotten him. He is a highly effective blocker. Like, his blocking is up here. He's an amazing blocker, and he also has a lot of talent when it comes to special teams. So I'm not gonna say that this was a bad pickup just because he only has gotten 150 yards. The Falcons got him for a reason, and he will be on that field blocking. Now, when it comes to defense, last year the Atlanta Falcons were going crazy in free agency when it came to defense. They were really trying to build that defense, and this year they've been a little more quiet on the defensive side. They've been really focusing on building up that offense and building around our new quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Starting to think that the Falcons are laying low on the defensive side so that we can go crazy in the draft when it comes to defense. We're still in need of some defensive players for sure to continue building on the defense that we built last year. The only move that the Atlanta Falcons have made this offseason defensively is re-signing defensive lineman Kentavious Smart. He only saw action in about 5 games for us last season. We did acquire him, you know, kind of later on in the season, and he had about 14 tackles. Also had 1 fumble recovery as well as 1 sack. So this was a great re-signing for the team. I'm glad to have him back. I can literally not stop saying this, but I am so excited for next season to see how the Falcons are going to perform. At this point, we have the best offense in the NFC South, and nobody can tell me otherwise. Atlanta has the quarterback, we have the coaching staff, we have the weapons. What else do we need to make it back to the playoffs? Absolutely nothing. Besides a few more defensive pieces, you know, but we're gonna get those in the draft. But besides that, we're stacked and we're ready. Raheem Morris, I'm tipping my hat off to you because you really have come onto the team and have made aggressive and instant changes, and I love that for us. It's like the team is finally starting to open their eyes and starting to making more and bigger, better moves. I'm so excited for the draft. You know, the draft is coming up next month in April. I cannot wait to see what we are going to do with that. I know they're gonna eat. I know they are. But how are we feeling about free agency so far? How are we feeling about these new receivers? Are y'all excited to see them in Falcons uniforms next season? But like always, thank you guys for watching my video today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Be sure to subscribe for more sports content from your girl, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye.